Hello again, this is Alex with MasterChartsTrading.com. Today is Friday, January 12th, 2018. So pretty similar to what I normally do, we'll look at various asset classes, namely stocks, bonds, junk bonds. We'll look at utilities and REITs in a little more detail. Uh, Tesla, we'll look at counter probability. Maybe at the end we'll look at some, how to design the trading system. Recent trades: Costco, Twitter, Yoke, ESS, Forex Universe. I'll also cover Mexico. iShares, gold miners pushing higher. Oil is pushing higher, but I would watch for a pullback. And natural gas seems to be turning bullish. Right, let's start out with some stocks and general stock opportunities. So S&P 500 ETF SPY on a daily time frame. We're pretty much approaching stratosphere, so that's as bullish as it gets. This is a fresh all-time highs, big move to fresh highs. So I think this is pretty much that Christmas or Santa Claus rally that people were talking about. So as far as buying opportunities, me personally, I prefer to have my risk as low as possible. So for me, that would have been back in August of 2017. That would have been a good buying opportunity for this instrument. Same goes for QQQ. IWM is a bit more choppy, so there's more buying opportunities or just in general trade. So for example, here was a trade that was sent to my subscribers on the 9th of or the 10th of November last year. So this is a nice gain there. Additionally, as far as major indices goes, XLY at fresh highs. Also, alert was sent, so that's a pretty nice gain there. These indicators here, I wanted to briefly mention. These indicator overlays, you can see that they're called MasterCharts Trading. If you go to tradingview.com, I'm hovering over at tradingview.com, search for these indicators and I can share them with you. And you can get them free month membership if you sign up at Trade Alert Services for at MasterChartsTrading.com. So briefly again, fresh all-time highs for major sectors, except for real estate. And in fact, real estate really underperformed. So here we have real estate obviously underperforming, and the price drops towards fresh lows. Today, on the 12th of January 2018, I sent an alert to my subscribers. Me personally, I would not be interested in buying this instrument. I would be interested in not owning this instrument. In other words, I would just be selling it and staying out of it. Eventually, sometime in the future, the price will turn around and close above this blue line, and that would be a good sign for me. But this has not yet happened. Additionally, personally, I have several positions in real estate related REITs, basically REITs. So here's one that I have. Sorry, I'm having a hard time here. I have ESS, so Essex Property Trust, and notice that this trade is obviously going against me. When I calculated my position size, when I said back here on November 22nd, how many shares, Alex, how many shares are you buying? And I'm going to say I will be buying a number of shares which I'm comfortable with. If it goes against me, how many dollars are you willing to lose? If you're willing to lose $1,000, that means you can open a big position, and most likely your account size is pretty big as well. But if you can only afford to, lose a small position, in other words, small number of dollars, so something like this, this position is calculated for a $100,000 account. Notice, I'm sorry, I should be saying $100,000 here. So a $100,000 account, risking 1%. So that's pretty straightforward. With this setup, you can buy about 100 shares. If you think that you're going to be wrong, basically at the yellow line. So this is how I calculate the positions. I sent this to my subscribers. I personally entered at 250.57. Will this trade? Obviously, this trade is going against me, so occasionally I will lose money. I have a 74% success rate of late. That means I don't have a 100% success rate. That means I still occasionally lose money. But in the long term, I still make money because my wins outnumber my losses significantly. So here's a few trades that are open actually. Here's Costco. And Costco, I personally have a position. I entered at 170, 174 here on 24th of November. I didn't really mess around. The reason why I entered, it's pretty straightforward, is this breakout. So I don't think too much about anything. So let's just go through my thinking, how I thought back in November of last year. So here I'm back in November. I'm thinking this looks like an interesting stock, or this looks like an instrument that I would be interested in buying because it's been kind of trading down and kind of really underappreciated by the Wall Street. But here, what I'm looking for is I'm looking simply for a breakout above this blue line. And so here in November, I'm thinking, okay, so this Costco looks interesting and it's coming up. It kind of wants to go higher. It kind of wants to break out above this blue line. And here's that breakout on the 8th of November of last year. So here I'm thinking, okay, we have broken out. I just need to basically enter. And, you know, basically here's the breakout. So I'm not entering right away. And then eventually I enter there, or on the 24th of November rather. It's a decent price. I mean, I could have entered back on the 8th of November. It could have been an even better price, but nevertheless, it's pretty darn close. So I enter, I go ahead and I buy. The reason being I bought this because right now the risk is relatively low. I'm here at the blue line. My risk would be either at the red line or even at the yellow. And for stocks, I generally like to do to err on the side of the bulls because the stocks have generally bullish bias. They go over or up over time. So here, back in November, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and enter on the long side. I'm going to buy Costco here. I bought Costco here at 171 or so. Put my stop at the yellow line. And just sit there basically. Here's the trade goes in my favor. I moved my stop to entry right away. This way I have absolutely no worries. The stock gapped in my favor. I went ahead and I sold half here on the 1st of December. This is optional, obviously. Some people like to hold it longer. I sometimes like to take profits. And I just sit there basically. Now, this is a fresh breakout. So Costco in this case is a fresh breakout. But also you could also be buying it at the green line. And here an alert was sent. Another alert was sent actually to my subscribers on the 8th of January. And this rise here already is pretty good. It's like a decent trade, basically. So this is the way I'm thinking about stocks. I don't really worry too much about the fundamentals and, management shakeups, etc. But the price action pretty much shows that an instrument is either bullish or bearish, and by extension you need to either be buying or selling it basically. All right, so another trade, Twitter. Recent trade. Here's my thinking. Recent breakout, very straightforward. The breakout occurred on the 12th of October because we had a close above this blue line. It's easy as that. So I did not immediately send this to my subscribers. I went ahead and I actually myself entered several weeks later at $20.62, and you can see this. It actually went significantly far away from the excellent entry point at 1830, and then it went in my favor, and it's still going in my favor, which is wonderful. Because I already sold half, I already moved my stop to entry, so I'm basically riding this higher. So far I got 25% profit on half of the original position, which is still pretty darn good. And then we got Yoke. This is a speculative play. So Yoke, speculative play, biotech. I traded several times before. Not a great entry, by the way. Notice that I could have bought at the blue line, which would have been at like $35, but I entered actually kind of late at $38. But notice that the price kind of meandered a little bit and then just shot up higher to like 35% profit basically. Again, I already sold half here at the green line, and I moved my stop to entry. For this really violent, biotech stocks, I kind of like to take my money off the table earlier than later. Could I be wrong? Sure. Okay, so let's look at Tesla. All right, so this is Tesla on the weekly time frame, so long term. But actually, let's look at Tesla on a daily time frame. And here's the cone of probability and the way I kind of visualize it. So again, my indicators here, you can find them at MasterChartsTrading.com, MasterChartsTrading.com. They're available for TradingView currently. Eventually, I'll probably get to it and I'll make them available for MetaTrader, but it's not yet ready. So the way I'm thinking about it is right now the price of Tesla is basically trading around this blue line. Me personally, on this particular stock, I have a bullish bias. The reason being is because it's coming off of highs and we're trading basically above the blue line, not yet below this red line. So right now, you can potentially play it with options if you are sophisticated enough to play options, or you can simply, outright buy it. I don't trade Tesla currently, but I would, if I was trading it, I would be buying it basically. And so those are the cone of probability. Where is it gonna go? I have no idea. It could go it could skyrocket probably, or it can collapse. But generally speaking, this is a pretty good estimate of where the price would be based on my indicators, basically. Okay. Additionally, I wanted to mention XLU, also known as utilities. Now, XLU utilities is a very important sector to the stock market, and there is some opinions that utilities sometimes actually lead the market during the change in time, so to speak. So utilities currently are approaching levels which I would consider bearish. So for example, here is XLU on the daily time frame, and I see a yellow line at 49.54. Now, if I had a position open from this recent alert that I sent to my subscribers on the 27th of December of last year, I would put my stop at the yellow line. And actually, we had another alert that was sent out on the 6th of December. And notice both of these trades, maybe this one from December 6th could have been maybe break even, but this one is definitely a loser. Now, you should be prepared going into this business that certain percentage of your trades is going to be losing trades. So if somebody promises you that they have, 100% success rate, then you should question that. I currently have 74% success rate, but this could change in the future, obviously, and it depends on execution of the trades really heavily, and the actual personality of trader as well. All right, let's continue to bonds. Here's TLT, and let's start with weekly time frame. So this is a weekly time frame, and so each one of these candlesticks is 1 week's worth of activity. The indicator lines on this chart are drawn by custom scripts called MasterChartsTrading that could be found at tradingview.com, or you can also send me an email or a message. Or you can call me. I think I have a phone number too now. So later on I'll post it. Anyways, here's TLT on the weekly time frame. I still think this is a bullish chart. I would start really worrying about TLT if we close below 121, 121 or so, below this red line. Until then, I would probably keep a bullish bias. In other words, I'm buying this stock. In fact, I have a position open. Here's TLT, and I opened December 14th at 127.72, a terrible price, and it went against me. Now, I am concerned about this because of the latest price action, and I'm zooming into this price action so you can see what I'm talking about. Notice how the price came up to this blue line and kind of sold off below it. This possibly indicates that we have a resistance up here. And if indeed we have resistance, then especially if we close below this red line, then I'll be less and less, I'll be more and more reluctant to be buying this. I would be more likely to just avoiding it or possibly shorting it. If you're interested in shorting, that's potentially possible if we get a close below this red line and maybe even a close below the yellow line. So we'll consider that. But for now, I still have a long position. If we get a close below this red line, I will exit at a loss. When I calculated my position, I was comfortable with the number of dollars that I'll be that in case of a loss, I would be losing. And by the way, I train this stuff, risk and trading psychology, elite training. All of this information is very important to a trader. You need to be able to calculate your position size. In other words, how many shares are you going to be buying? So TLT, I have a position which I'm comfortable with if this goes against me. And it could go against me because nobody has a 100% success rate. So don't look for that. Okay, here's junk bonds. So junk bonds, difficult chart again. It does look like junk bonds have bottomed. And notice there's a close above this blue line, so maybe we will go higher. Alternative possibility is we get a push lower, and again we will need to consider if we want to be buying this or avoiding it. Okay, so let me briefly try and show you guys my thinking on how to, at the very least, determine the trend of a security. All right, let's continue to the Forex universe. The lines on this chart that you're seeing here are drawn by my custom indicators. There can be had if you go to MasterChartsTrading.com. That's MasterChartsTrading.com. Click on Trade Alert Services, sign up for one of the services, and I can share the indicators with you on TradingView. Okay, so this is a dollar on a daily time frame, dollar index DXY. If you listen to my previous videos, I said repeatedly that this is a bearish security, this is a bearish instrument, and I would be shorting it if I was trading it. I can't trade it because this is a CFD, if I'm not mistaken, but you can do it through Forex. And in fact, here's euro versus US dollar. Let's look at that, for example. So euro versus US dollar. I repeatedly said that this is a bullish security. This is a bullish instrument, euro versus US dollar, and I'll be buying it. And you can see the multiple green arrows here at the green line. And again, these indicators are available at MasterChartsTrading.com. Also, you can send me a private message on TradingView. I'm at MasterCharts. British pound breaks out to fresh highs. Again, excellent breakout, excellent buying opportunity. Let's say you are more of a longer term investor and you bought and October 6th here at the blue line. Simply set a limit buy. You know, you got a nice gain here of 5% or so, 700 pips. So yeah, sometimes you get really nice opportunities like that. Here's Canadian dollar, US dollar versus Canadian dollar. I again sent an alert. Well, I don't really trade currencies, but I actually published a public idea here, a Canadian dollar. So it went in, you know, obviously in my favor if I was trading it. US dollar versus Mexican peso. Again, also a bearish instrument. In other words, Mexican peso is winning this battle. I thought that we're going to break out above this blue line back on the 26th of December. It kind of tapped out here and then got sold pretty hard. Ideally, I want to see a close below this red line to confirm a strong bearish bias. And let's see if this is going to occur. It looks really ready to roll over hard. In other words, Mexican peso will gain. But everything, you know, anything is possible. I personally have a position in EWW, which is a Mexico iShares, Mexican stock market, and I bought it back in October of 2017. Notice it's really not going my way, but I like the way that Mexican peso is acting. In other words, it is gaining, and this is helping this ETF. So if Mexican peso drops further, EWW will likely appreciate, which is a good sign for this position, especially if we get a breakout above $52 or so. Could see a strong move higher. All right, let's continue to Japanese yen very briefly. QJY, Japanese yen. The reason why I'm using Japanese yen futures is because sometimes the charts are not terribly clear, and I would prefer to go to the most. I mean, futures is as good of an instrument as you can probably get. Notice here on the daily time frame, the price actually came down below this red line, but notice there was no close below the red line. We closed above this red line, and this was a good sign. And notice that we got a surge here. So ideally we should see a close above this blue line for a strong surge higher. You can play this I'm sorry, US dollar versus Japanese yen, USDJPY, currency pair on the daily time frame. Basically, I think even though we saw a close above this blue line here, for this particular instrument on FXCM, I like the futures more, and I think the futures Japanese yen is bullish, so I would be shorting this instrument, especially if we get a breakdown below this red line sometime in the future. I don't know when. We may not get there. So overall, dollar is bearish. We're seeing a break to new lows. In fact, on a weekly time frame, you can see that these are multi-year lows not seen since let me see, January of 2015. So this is a 3-year low for the dollar index. And when we get to gold, I'll show that this is quite helpful to gold. Okay, let's continue to gold. Here's gold futures on a daily time frame. Actually, a couple of alerts were sent to my subscribers. One on the 13th of December, another one was on the 22nd of December. Bullish alerts to go long to buy this instrument. We used GLD as our buying instrument. So at the very least, one alert was sent that I'm seeing here on the 13th, and this is a nice 7+% gain in just a few weeks. So again, so far I did not see a close below this red line, so I considered bullish. Gold bullish. Here's GDX on a daily time frame. I personally have a position open. I bought it at 21.74, so like on this right there on the 13th of December, and now position is up quite nicely. I already actually sold half. Position is up 9%. It's pretty good. And I actually sent another alert because it looks like we have a fresh breakout for GDX above this blue line, and this looks like a breakout, and it could continue strongly higher. I like this type of charts, so this looks bullish to me. Also, I personally have Royal Gold. I bought Royal Gold just recently also at 82.14, and I already moved my stop to entry, so I at the very least can't lose the money. We also trade several gold miners at MasterChartsTrading.com, and you can get these indicators again if you sign up at Trade Alert Services at MasterChartsTrading.com. Subscribe here, and I'll share these indicators with you on TradingView. So gold, GDX, gold related gold miners basically. They look bullish. Obviously, dollar is under pressure. This is helpful to gold. It's pretty straightforward. Why? Because XAU USD. So XAU means gold. USD means expressed in dollar terms. XAU USD. XAU is winning this battle. USD is losing this battle. So a nice gain for my subscribers here. Okay, let's continue to light crude oil. CL1 exclamation point. But we can look at the retail ETF as well. Very nice move here. Basically, I had 3 buying opportunities, and I sent all of those 3 to my subscribers. Right now, we're waiting basically for a pullback to around 61 bucks. Still bullish chart. I'll be buying it around 61 chart for $61 for futures on the daily time frame. Here's a CFD US oil. I can trade that as well. I would basically same price, about 61 bucks. Myself, I have a position in XLE, energy ETF. Recent breakout, kind of dragged its feet, but finally broke out here on the 21st of December. I didn't really mess around. I immediately entered on breakout at 71.74. Currently, I have about what is it, almost 9% gain, which is pretty nice. I may start taking money off the table depending on price action. But oil is bullish, and here's USO. For example, you can trade it on the United States exchange, and there's a bunch of buying opportunities. So we have a breakout here on 27. It's not ideal to, analyze this, the security, but basically we can start buying around the green line. Something like that. So we're waiting for a pullback for USO to around $12.20 basically. All right, and now let's wrap up with natural gas. Here's natural gas futures and G1 exclamation point. Up to very recently, in fact, today, I thought that natural gas was bearish. Actually, my bet would have paid off quite well because there was a gazillion opportunities to short, and most of these trades would have been probably at least partially profitable. Depending on the skill, I think, more than anything else. Sometimes you can get out of a relatively tight situation if you have a little bit more experience. So natural gas is not for the faint of heart. It's for a very certain type of trader that is okay with a lot of losses. I personally don't like it because there's too many trend changes, but this looks like a true, honest to goodness trend change. So there is a potential for this security, this instrument to break out strongly higher. This could be a super strong move to the upside. Alternative scenario is also true, and we could drop lower, but it does look like we want to go higher from here for natural gas, and maybe we can trade it on the upside with my subscribers. All right, if you have any questions, please go to MasterChartsTrading.com, click on Trade Alert Services, sign up for free. You get free 4 weeks trial, including the indicators that you saw in these videos. You can adjust them to your own charts. You can change this settings, change the color if you don't like. You can change the number of days it's assigned. And then, yeah, you can use them basically. So I share them with you. You can use the indicators, unlimited as far as what you can do. You could play intraday on 1 minute charts. Some people do that. To me, it's more difficult to trade intraday, but some people, like it. So, for example, here would have been a couple of bullish trades on a 1 minute chart. So that's also a possibility. All right, thanks for watching and have another great trading week. Bye bye.